In Palestine, the foreign minister denounced before the United Nations General Assembly the crimes committed by the Tel Aviv regime against the civilians in the Gaza Strip, which has caused the death of more than 7,000 Palestinians. During an extraordinary session of the AAG and EU, the diplomat affirmed that 70% of the civilians killed are women and children, in addition to the fact that more than 1,600 of his compatriots remain under the rubble with no certainties as to whether they are alive or dead. Likewise, he contrasts that Israel wants to free its hostages, but he rejects that for this purpose Tel Aviv should take 2 million people hostage. The need to a territory with one of the highest populations densities in the world, Gazans are caught in a little threat. There is a sign of bombardment which are causing an increasing number of deaths, especially children. With more of current situation, our correspondent Hurad Higasi gives us the details.
Since the beginning of this war, more than 1.5 million Gazans have had to evacuate their homes, many of them because either their homes have been bombed or simply because the occupation army had ordered the Gazans in the north and central Gaza Strip to leave for the south. Unfortunately, the south has not been one of the safest areas either, as more than 55% of bombing has been taking place in this area. There are several people who have decided to take refuge in hospitals, such as the Nasser Hospital, where we are. We have several people decide to take refuge. Here, as we can see, most of them have nothing. They have lost their homes. Let's see how they wash their clothes here. They hang them here. They have no place to go. They try to carry out their daily life, but unfortunately, it is very difficult. We can also see here children's clothes, old people's clothes, because whole families have proceeded to come here in this hospital, Hospital Nasir of Jan Yunis. In shelters, more than 20,000 Gazans who have been left homeless or have been evacuated to the south. A very difficult situation because these people, as I said before, have lost their homes. They have nothing. Several of them have lost their families. As we can see here, there is a whole family that has lost their home. They have also lost several members of their family. They assure us that the situation is very difficult. The days are very hot, the nights are very cold, and they live precisely on the charity of some people. Now, we will proceed to talk to one of the relatives of this family that we have seen before to explain us a little bit how they live in the situation here in the hospital. Let's talk about the situation in the hospital. What are the things you are experiencing?
First of all, here in the hospital we're lacking everything. We have already run out of medicines and medical supplies. We have run out of everything when treating so many children, women and elderly people. Even the drinking water has run out. The water here in Gaza was contaminated. The international health agencies have not sent us anything. We don't even have any material left to wrap the bodies. There are uncollected bodies. We have become an isolated people from the rest of the world. We call on the WHO to help us because we are facing epidemics and diseases. We are dying slowly. It is a slow execution.
That they have a lot of difficulty in finding food, in finding even drinking water. They have been even warned us that because of the great agglomeration of people in this place, disease and pandemic are beginning to be created. Even the air that they have begun to enter through the borders of Rafah, the border that separates the border of Gaza with the borders of Egypt, have not received anything. Even the food, the treatments, no water that has proceeded to enter the Gaza Strip have not seen anything. The population claims that this aid has been stored in warehouses and they have not received anything. Unfortunately, so far, they have not received any of this aid. So the situation of these people is an inhuman situation. They live without basic necessities to live. They have no water, they have no food, they have no place to sleep. They have lost almost everything, and so far nobody is doing anything because so far, after 20 days of this war, this event, not a single European country have lifted a finger to stop this humanitarian catastrophe that has Gaza population experiencing here in the Gaza Strip.
The desperate situation of the Palestinian residents of the Gaza Strip exceed any hint of skepticism towards the reality they have to face. Let's listen to the testimony of the resident who lost his belongings due to the Israeli bombardment.
We were sitting here and 3 missiles hit. There were 4 of us. One of us was filling water with his children, 2 of which were wounded, and 1 is still missing under the rubble from so much bombing and fragments everywhere. At first we thought that only 1 house was destroyed and not several. The darkness after the attack filled the place and we could not distinguish anything. I moved to the ground behind a trash bin and I could not see anything until after about 7 minutes, when I could make out something in the distance. Assad's house has been destroyed, together with the houses of all his relatives. The situation is very difficult. My God, this is a tragedy. These are our friends and neighbors, and this is happening every day. What have Netanyahu and the others done to us?
A national march was organized in Venezuela to support the people of Palestine and condemn the actions of the Israeli occupation forces against Gaza. The Venezuelan people joined the mobilizations that are taking place around the world in solidarity with the Palestinian children, women, and families affected by the Israeli occupation forces, and expressed their rejection to the constant attacks that have caused the death of more than 7,000 people. The ambassador of Palestine to Venezuela, Farid, also thanked people for their demonstration and demanded. Meanwhile, in Spain, students raised their voices to condemn the attack perpetrated by the Israeli occupation forces on Palestinian citizens. Demonstrators called for a halt to the genocide in the Gaza Strip and affirmed that the Israeli side has been going on for many years under the watchful eye of NATO, the United States, and Europe.
It is the same story that it is repeating itself again since 1948, and it is the same story that we see today and that happens again and again at home, and when we also know in Jerusalem. I have said massacres to the Palestinian people, this is not new, but now we have journalists, Instagram, Facebook, and people at home can communicate. Show what happens if my heart is broken because many people in the world do not understand the truth.
A delegation from the Palestinian resistance movement Hamas meets in Moscow with the Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Mikhail Bogdanov. According to the note by the Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, a member of the political bureau of the Islamic resistance movement, Abu Marzuk, was in Moscow and that contacts has been established with him following the Russian line for the liberation of the foreign hostages located in the Gaza Strip, as well as issues related to ensuring the evacuation of Russians and other foreign citizens. Let's take a very short break, but remember you can now join us on our TikTok account as teleSUR English, where you'll be able to see news in different formats, news updates, and more. Stay tuned for more news. Welcome back to From the South. The National Conference for Dialogue and Peace takes place in Venezuela on Thursday to ratify the agreement signed in Barbados regarding the lifting of sanctions against the country and the holding of elections in 2024. The Conference for Peace, Dialogue and Coexistence took place at the Miraflores Palace and was led by President of Venezuela, Nicolás Maduro. Also in attendance were the Executive Vice President Delcy Rodriguez, governors of the country, the military high command, vice presidents of government, and different groups of the Venezuelan society, including the religious representative and also representative of the opposition.
agreement we have just signed in Barbados and this National Peace Conference, and the agreement to be signed at this National Peace Conference should give us 20, 30, 40 years for the development of democracy, the recovery of the economy, the construction of a new economic model, the national prosperity. That is what I and we all aspire to.
The Venezuelan president also expressed the need to build a new economic model that guarantees social welfare.
There is a broad consensus, very broad, in terms of building a new economic model. I believe there is a broad consensus in all academic, social, political, business and cultural sectors of the country. Venezuela needs a new economic model to guarantee the sustainability of our homeland with our own efforts, with a high level of investment and technology that will allow us to recover our country in all its growth and real development parameters.
On the other hand, the President of the National Assembly, Jorge Rodriguez, emphasized that beyond political differences, there are common grounds on the defense of the country and the national territory.
Even with the profound differences we may have, or even with the not so great differences we may have, we share some common interests, where we are together. We are together in the defense of our beloved homeland. We are together in the defense of our sacred territory, which includes the Guyana Esequiba. We are together in the defense of the heritage that belongs to everyone. We also are together in a profound rejection and in the energetic request that all economic sanctions against the people of Venezuela and that affect us all equally be lifted.
In Venezuela, the Bolivarian government issued a communique, a note of the position adopted by CARICOM of Venezuela's legitimate claims over the Esequiba Guyana, reiterate the right of our people to pronounce themselves on the issue and to continue fighting for the peaceful solution of the territorial conflict. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ivan Hill, on his X account detailed the content of the official communique, where it can be read that it also supports the initiative of the National Assembly to carry out a popular consultation on this matter within the framework of its constitutional attributions. In Uruguay, La Teja oil refinery will remain paralyzed until March 2024 due to the start of the maintenance work. The board of the NCAP, the state-owned fuel company, informed that it signed an agreement with the unions and businessmen to carry out the actions that will allow the plants to restart operations on March 2024. The refinery has been shut down since September the 4th and was scheduled to restart operations in December 2023, but different conflicts with the union led to a delay in the original schedule. In Panama, more than 200 citizens have been arrested during demonstrations in rejection to the signing of a mining contract between the state and a Canadian mining company. According to the data from the National Police, at least 25 officers were injured in protests against the contract that would give a 20-year exploitation concession to the Canadian mining company, which is considered unconstitutional by the judiciary. While more than 30 businesses and 6 state offices have been vandalized, in addition to 18 vehicles that were affected. Let's take our last break, but before we invite you to visit our YouTube channel at teleSUR English, where you'll be able to watch our interviews, top stories, special broadcasts, and more. Hit the subscribe button and active the notification bell to stay up to date on the world's most recent events. One final short break, don't go away. Welcome back. The 9th day of the Pan American Games is taking place in Santiago de Chile. The journalist Eduardo Regonesi has more details from the headquarters of the Games.
Hello, good afternoon. We are here at the Peñalolén Park in the easternmost part of the city of Santiago. A very beautiful park. We were here yesterday, we are here today. It's all about beach volley today. We are here to witness the semifinals from the men between Cuba and United States. Semifinal number 1. It's happening at 19 hours, 7 o'clock. Also later on, 20 hours, 8 p.m. local time, the Primos Grimal, the Grimal cousins against the Brazilian couples. The Chilean couple are one of the favorites to win the gold medal, but the Brazilian couple had an amazing match yesterday, and they are here to try to make it to the final. Earlier today, we had the women's semifinal where Canada defeated Argentina 2-0, and Brazil did the same against the United States 2-0, so they secure a spot in the final. Let's talk about the other volleyball. The other volleyball is not happening here. It's happening at the Movistar Arena, O'Higgins Park, where Chile defeated Colombia and secured the 5th spot in the standing. And right now, Argentina is defeating Mexico for the bronze medal. Later on tonight, the actions are going to close with Dominican Republic facing Brazil in the women's side for the gold medal. This is going to happen at 8 p.m. local time. And of course, we are going to bring you all the details, all the results here at the beach volley, also volleyball at O'Higgins Park. That's it for now. We go back with you guys in the studio.
We continue in Chile. House of the 19th Pan American Games. Today, a press conference was held with the participation of international sports stars who are currently active and others who have already retired. Let's listen to the following video.
Today at noon, local time, and alongside Harold Mike Nichols, director of Santiago 2023, and Neven Illich, president of ODEPA, 3 international figures talked in front of the international press at the National Stadium. Javier Sotomayor, Olympic gold and double world champion in high jump. Mikhail Lopez, 4 times Olympic champion in wrestling, both from Cuba, and Ukrainian Sergei Bubka were invited to the International Press Center where they talked to the press.
I feel happy, proud to be part of the athletes who are ambassadors here in America. In these games, I hope you all continue to have successful games. And that you continue to enjoy the performance here in America.
From his part, 5 times Pan American champion who was present during the Cuban Games in baseball valued the connection between the public and the crowd, especially the connection with children.
Many of us active, retired athletes did not have the possibility to see the athletes of the past who were on a high level, and we could not have contacts with them. To have the presence of high-level athletes is truly a dream, the possibility to see things live. We have to help them with the mentality of the times we are living in. The athletes have to interact with the young people so that the young people are inspired to achieve things in sports, because sports is the teaching that leads you to achieve results and to live life.
Well, Sergei Bubka mentioned the world-class infrastructure, comparing these games to what you see on the Olympic Games, and it's excited about the legacy that these games are going to leave in Chile. Now the international athletes are going to watch the different sporting events in support of their fellow athletes.
And shifting topics, on Thursday in Mexico, authorities report that the impact of Hurricane Otis left at least 27 deaths and 4 missing. The Secretary of Security and Citizen Protection, Rosa Isla Rodriguez, submitted an assessment of the serious damage to the hotel infrastructure, roads, electrical services, and communications caused by the hurricane in the southern state of Guerrero, and in particular in Acapulco. She stated that the situation was very disastrous. On the other hand, in the morning conference, President Andrés Manuel López Obrador informed that among the fatal victims was an official of the Secretary of Defense who was arrested. And we have come to the end of this news brief, but before saying goodbye, we want to thank our Caribbean audience, especially the audience of Trinidad and Tobago. We are pleased to share our newscast and contribute to provide an alternative news sources of the latest world events, taking live stories of the people of the South and break the hegemonic media dominance. And you can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net, and also join us on our socials. We're on Facebook, on X, and on Instagram as well. From teleSUR English and from the South, I'm Ana Marrero. Thank you for watching.